Rock'n'roll, fiskebås, köttkakor och fårikål, fiskesuppe, kaviar, kocken spiller på gitarr, potäterna de kokar, barna de ropar oh yeah!
Hello everyone, I am Devi Ward and you are watching Sexist Medicine TV.
I am Marta Schneider, and Devi and I are the co-founders of Tibetan Tantra Inc. Holistic Sex Education. And we're here today to answer yet another question from you listeners and viewers out there.
This comes in from Marvin. My question is, how can I give my female lovers penetrative orgasms, meaning orgasms during lingam and yoni? Clitoral orgasms they love, but they expect from me penetrative orgasms. So he wants to know, how can I make her come with my lingam, is the question. So I'm going to let you take the lead on this, Marta.
Okay. Well, I'm just first going to address the wording there, because it sounds like there is this gentleman, and maybe also his partners, is coming from a place of expecting that orgasm is something you get from your partner. That's not the case. Orgasm is something that, just like emotions, that we have them inside of ourselves. Like, I'm the container for my emotions, and if I don't expect myself to contain them, I'm gonna spew them on other people, or expect other people to make me happy and be very miserable if they don't. So same thing with orgasm. So take a little conversation around that with yourself and also with your partner. That orgasm is actually something that requires collaboration and communication, because in the act of making love, your partner, female partner in this case, because from the question I'm hearing that this is a heterosexual situation, the female partner will have to communicate to you what makes her feel pleasure and what it's preventing it. So maybe not focusing too much on what's preventing it, but praising and highlighting, ooh, when you're doing that feels really good to me. Can you do that more? Or yes, that's really nice. A little bit more to the left. Stuff like that, so that this guy doesn't have to fumble around in the dark and be this lonesome knight in shining armor. It's really boring and frustrating, because the armor is so thick, because he has to defend himself against making mistakes, because that's totally out of the question, because he's supposed to be an expert. Well, guess what? His whole body, his whole pleasure system functions in a different way. He has no clue what it's like to have a yoni and a clitoris and all that. So ladies, you're gonna have to communicate. Just try to overcome that barrier. What if he takes it personally, or try to come from a place of just acknowledging that it's good for you both to be communicating. It's serving the motivation that I want to make you happy. Okay, I want to make you happy too. So let's figure out a way to make that easier. So then the woman is going to take responsibility for her orgasmic process experience, and also her responsibility in terms of, is she able to respond with pleasure to the kind of stimulation that's being provided? Or is her body saying, nah, nothing's happening? So then be curious, try something else. So responsibility both in the emotional and mental meaning of the word, but also physically. Is your body responding in terms of pleasure?
So all super good points, and I want to pick up on in regards to physical, because there are some physical things that we do need to consider, because that plays a huge part in it. And I know that everything that you said is absolutely true. And we are taught as females to, or is taught as cisgender women particularly, just kind of like lay back and take it, not offer any guidance, because our male partners are just supposed to arrive on the scene, knowing what to do. Where did they learn this information? So that's so true. And the other hand, there's so many, because we're not educated in this culture about basic things like our physiology and anatomy. So we've said this a million times, we'll say it again, it can take a a woman's body 20 to 45 minutes, or we'll say female body with female genitalia, 20 to 45 minutes before that internal erectile tissue is fully engorged. So if you're talking about vaginal orgasms, you need to be engorged. Like, they're not going to happen in 2 minutes. They just don't. Her body isn't ready. So how do you give her vaginal orgasms? Make sure that she's fully engorged. Like 45 minutes of foreplay, no joke. The other thing is that lasting longer. So it doesn't have to be 45 minutes of foreplay. Like, if you're a man who can retain his semen and make love for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, you can be making love with her with your lingam, and her body's engorging, and the more it engorges, the more pleasure she's going to feel. So this is not, people are like, they're in such a rush for sex to be over. It's like, all right, 10 minutes and we're done. And I hear this from both males and females. Women are like, okay, I'm done after 10 minutes. No, y'all, like, this is like the big event. Like, there's nothing better than this. There's nothing better than this. When you're doing it right, there's nothing better than this. That's the potential for it. And so really slowing it down, taking your time, and really focusing on the connection, the connecting through pleasure. That's ultimately what human sexuality is about. Connecting through this particular specific flavor of pleasure, because there's nothing else like it. So clitoral orgasms, depending on the female body, they can be easier and faster, again, depending. And the vaginal orgasms are more elusive, and that usually, generally, in my opinion, has to do with time. It really has to do with taking the view, the more expansive view. Sex is not happening. It's not a 10-minute event. It could be, a minimum of 30, 40 minutes. And so you have to go in with your supplies. Be prepared to You're uncovering buried treasure. Take your time.
Exactly. No rush. That's very, very important. So what we're saying here is that this is team sport. So both people are going to have to show up with their toolkit. And if there are areas around your sexuality and your anatomy and the potential and how to tease it out, then figure that information out so that you can set yourself up for success.
Yes.
Yeah. Success is not defined by whether you have a vaginal orgasm or not. It's more about what's the process like. Is it stressful? Well, then it's not going to happen anyways. But is it fun, playful, and juicy and steamy? Then orgasm usually happens down the line.
Yes. I like to say orgasm is the body's natural response to pleasure. So if we bring enough pleasure for a long enough time and we're able to be present with that pleasure, orgasm is guaranteed.
Oh, and I want to add, yes, absolutely. We all in this culture, on this planet, we have a complicated relationship to sexuality. So whether we have experienced an overwhelming event where we were actually traumatized, or we've just been, like sponges, we've been picking up on these messages that sex is dirty, or you shouldn't do it because you're a religious person and it doesn't mix with whatever. So many mixed messages around sexuality can actually lay a lid on the orgasmic responsibility of the body, mind, psyche, spirit. So know that you're probably dealing with that to some degree with every person you interact, including yourself. So I just wanted to toss that in there, because sometimes we just try and it's not working, and then we start blaming ourselves. But we carry around a lot of baggage in this department. So just try to see what sex can be like in a healing perspective, how that it can be opening up and inviting stuff to come to the surface if you're really daring to be vulnerable.
Yes, focus on sex as medicine.